Hey, so today trying a Greek wine. Xinomavro is the grape variety. This one in particular, Kir-Yianni is the producer, and it comes from Naousa, which is a region that is just west of Thessaloniki in northern Greece, northeastern Greece. And this Ramnista bottling is 100% Xinomavro. Xinomavro is a native Greek variety, indigenous to Greece. For me, it tends to make a wine that is a red wine, a little more kind of sweet, sour, fruited, red, black fruited, often has a herbal character to it, like many Greek wines do for me. And it's usually aged in oak, as this one is, I think, 18 months, I think it was, in a mixture of French and American oak. Yeah, so let's see. Reasonable colour there, decent richness. Sweet sour fruit, as I said. Kind of berry fruits. You can see the oak a little bit, but it's not too predominant. Herbal character, like dill. Other vegetal characters. There's even a kind of darker fruit character and a darker kind of vegetative character, like dried out grasses or hay or something like that. Otherwise, quite bright, juicy nose, makes you want to kind of dive in. And on the palate, it's actually reasonably medium-bodied for its 14.5% alcohol, apparently. Not too heavy, travels well, good acid, they often have that, and drying tannins, quite savoury. So it's kind of got a sweet, savoury thing going on. Like the fruit is a little bit sweet, but it's also kind of sour in its character. And there's a little bit of sweet oak there, and a woodsiness to it, but it's really savoury in its acidity and in its kind of herbal or vegetal slightly flavours, and in its drying, parching kind of tannins in the mouth. It really gives you a savoury experience on the palate in particular. Pretty nice with Greek cuisine. Just had it with some stuffed peppers or capsicum with a bit of lamb, a bit of cheese. Also pretty good with black olives, kalamatas, the best from Greece. So, this particular bottle, Kir-Yianni's Ramnista Xinomavro from Naousa region of Greece, but try any Xinomavro from Greece. They're pretty interesting wines. Good with olives too. Try it. For me, probably the best wine I've ever had with a black Greek Kalamata olive. A Kalamata olive aged in lacto-fermented and stored in vinegar with a bit of olive oil. Best match ever. Best olives, of course, too.
What other things have you had that have actually gone with olives before that you can think of? Like if any type of style or region or whatever were to go with olives, not clash.
There's not much, to be honest. Maybe Chateau Moussa has a little bit of that same balance. I think why it works with this particular wine is there's a reasonable amount of alcohol, so you've got something in texture that works with the oil, the olive oil in the olive, and it has a good acid that doesn't, it means it doesn't clash with the acid in the vinegar in the olives. And it's also quite tannic, this wine, so the salt in the olives smooths that out, because the salt reduces your impression of tannin. So the kind of combination of the two, that it doesn't clash in terms of body, in terms of acid, but it kind of balances because you've got the smoothness working for you through reduction of tannin and the alcohol that's already there with the olive oil.
I think the only other thing I can remember, I've obviously not got as much experience as you, that I can remember working well with olives was a Rhone that I think we had at either a Greek restaurant in, I think it was, in the inner west.
Maybe for the same kind of reasons.
Yeah. Is Xinomavro the main, or the predominant red variety grown in Greece?
One of the predominant. Arioritico is also pretty popular there. And of course they've brought on a lot of international grape varieties. So Greece had a bit of a renaissance in its winemaking in kind of the 90s, and they actually brought in consultants from Bordeaux, and those consultants really, well, they didn't just improve the quality overall, but they also brought with them the influence of international varieties like Bordeaux varieties. So there are things like Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon also grown in Greece now. But personally, I think the traditional, native, indigenous varieties to Greece are the more interesting or better.
Well, if they can be this delicious, it would almost be a shame if they got pushed out by international varieties.
Exactly, yeah.
There's enough places growing Cabernet.
Yep, exactly. It's something different, it's something interesting.
Having been to Greece and drunk some Greek wines picked up there and brought back, is this quite typical of the kind of stuff that people would be drinking there, or do you think this is a little crafted for the export market?
I'd say the average of what people drink there is not very good. In fact, probably the average of what is drunk in Greece is actually the uncle's homebrew, to be honest. But
a touch of vinegar.
Yeah, but exactly. But for widely commercially retail wines in Greece, this is a fairly large producer, and I think Kir-Yianni's Remnista Xinomavro is exemplary of the style of Xinomavro that you now see in Greece. Yeah, and that for me is, it has that, kind of, it's like a dark red but also black kind of fruits, and some interest in terms of other aromatics, like a bit herbal, bit woodsy on the nose, and then on the palate often they have good acidity. They've got some body, but they're not really heavy, and they have quite drying tannins often, which I guess you have to be into that kind of thing, which I am. But I think with the right kind of food combination, it's a really nice experience anyway.
I think it doesn't need to be a food wine though, because the fruit's so juicy that picks up the tannins, so it makes it really drinkable.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got some protein or salt kind of food with this, it works. It's a combination.
There's even some spice on the nose, like
a
touch of anise.
Yeah.
And there's some florals as well.
Yeah, that's true. There's a decent bit going on. I mean, it's not a hugely expensive wine. I think retails typically in Australia for around $40 or so, which is a reasonable price point, I think, for what it is. Yeah, bit of complexity there. Keeps the interest, and with the right food, definitely works. So, yeah, Xinomavro, try it.